All right, guys. Hey, good Saturday evening, everybody. Hope everybody has enjoyed their Saturday so far. And we've got some snow on the radar beginning to develop just to the northwest of the Indianapolis area towards Lafayette, towards Urbana, just southwest of Logansport. You can see some of those winter weather advisories in effect right now. I'm actually going to start south and then I'm going to move north as we go throughout this update, guys. We'll give folks another second or so to filter in. I'll be sure to try to go through and answer some of the comments here as we go throughout this forecast. The trends, guys, have been a little bit down in terms of this heavier band. Now, I still think that there's still some decent accumulating snow, especially across northern Indiana. But one of the issues that we're having right now, the intensity of these storms to the south, I think robbing the storm a little bit of some moisture. You can kind of see the gap here, guys. We've got some snow back here, actually out in eastern Oklahoma near Tulsa, but a little bit more dry air on the northwest side, guys, with the latest trends. And that's partly related to all of the severe weather going on right now. We've got tornado warnings ongoing. You can see that here in western Mississippi. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings. We've had tornado warnings as well associated with this line across western parts of Tennessee. This is going to include areas like Jackson, Tennessee. Clarksville is just to the east of these severe storms. Hopkinsville, Kentucky. All of these are flood and flash flood warnings as well, with very, very heavy rain having gone on most of the day across Tennessee and Kentucky. And these severe storms will be pushing off to the east towards Bowling Green, towards Nashville, as we work over the next couple of hours. And again, I think that the intensity of this line is so well defined right now, kind of robbing some of the dynamics from the northwest side of the storm. Now, it's not to say that it's not going to snow. It's still going to snow, but I think the higher end potential has been cut down a little bit because of how those storms are evolving. I see a report thundering in Madison, Indiana. Appreciate that report. Yeah, guys, look at the rainfall rates down across southern portions of Illinois, northern Kentucky. Some very, very heavy rain. We can turn on and look at the observed rainfall so far the past 24 hours with this system. I'll turn off the alerts here for a second. You can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings, all the flood warnings down here, just kind of crazy. But to click around, some of these areas have gotten more than 5 inches of rain across western Kentucky and western Tennessee with this storm system. Now, if we go to the simulated radar, I'm going to kind of take you through here, give you all a look at how we expect this to progress over the next several hours. And what you can see by 10:30, 11 o'clock especially, this band of snow starts to slowly kind of pull a little bit further down to the south. And so this is by about 11 o'clock. By this time, we've got snow developing from Charleston and Danville in Illinois towards Lafayette. Already starting to see that in Lafayette and Logansport, but filling in a little bit more, you can see some of those darker blues, Marion, Fort Wayne. And then as we continue to go through, look at that very heavy rain down to the south in the Louisville metro area. But as we go further into midnight, 1 a.m., you can start to see the snow approaching Indianapolis from the north. By 1 a.m., we've got some mixing probably on the north side down towards Terre Haute. We have some snow starting to fill in back here towards the St. Louis metro area as well, guys. And then as we work towards about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you can see the snow beginning to push into the Indianapolis metro area, mixing at this point down towards Bloomington, down towards Greenwood, Muncie. Guys, we've got snow filling in towards Mount Vernon, southern parts of Illinois as well. Meanwhile, just to zoom out here for a second, meanwhile, this intense line of storms, this squall line, if you will, extends all the way from northern Kentucky to the Gulf Coast with additional strong storm and severe weather potential. Meanwhile, very heavy rain ongoing across northern and central parts of Ohio with snow filling in to the north. So just an impactful system in terms of how widespread and how dynamic that it is, guys. As we continue to go throughout the overnight hours, By the time we work towards 3:30, 4:30, you can see snow pivoting here, and you can see where some of the heavier bands are embedded. I would say, especially with the latest trends kind of north of Indianapolis, you can see some of those heavier bands, Anderson, Muncie at this time. We also have, while it may be more brief, some heavy bursts down towards Evansville and Vincennes. Again, I think a little bit of the concern is here some of the drier air intruding into the system on the northwest side. But still, we've got 2-3 hours of a decent little burst of snow. This is by 6:30. At this point, we've got snow from Bloomington to Columbus to Jasper to Richmond through still the Indianapolis metro area up towards northern parts of the state. And I will get to snow totals here in a second. I just kind of wanted to time out the simulated radar for you all. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I would say that the bulk of the snow is east of the Indianapolis metro area, but still probably, if you're heading out to church in the morning, Cincinnati, Louisville, we've got crashing temperatures and snow still falling. And then I do think that as we go throughout tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to show you a different view here real quick. We can still deal with some of these scattered snow showers and flurries across the area, guys. This is through tomorrow morning and into the early afternoon. Still think that we're going to be dealing with some of these snow showers kind of lingering across the area. And if we go all the way really through the rest of the day, you can see some of the lake effect leading to some enhanced snowfall across northeast Indiana, Fort Wayne, South Bend, snow all across Michigan and Ohio before this slowly starts to exit on Sunday night. And then, hey, look at that. There's our next system. We'll talk briefly about that later on in this video. Now, I know a lot of you want to talk about snowfall totals. Before I get to that, a couple of things. I want to give a shout out to Express Steel. They are powering these live streams, guys. We couldn't do it without them. Guys, their products are American made with more snow in the forecast. Go get some snow pushers if you need them. If you need to restock for the rest of the season, go to expresssteelinc.com. You can use the code BAM for $100 off at checkout, guys. And they do ship free to anywhere in the lower 48. And a lot of their items made right here in Martinsville, Indiana. So appreciate their support. David, swing and a miss, guys. I haven't even shown you the forecast yet. So how can you say it's a swing and a miss? It's still gonna snow. I don't understand that. Here, I'm gonna, just because of that, we're gonna bring Snowski in. We gotta bring Snowski in. Put him in the top left there. That's what I think about that. And then real quick, one more thing. If you were in the area in Franklin on May 17th of this year, May 17th, 2025, we are hosting the second annual Storm Cancer 5K with the Cure Starts Now in the Adeline Strong chapter of the Cure Starts Now to fundraise and to raise money and awareness for research into pediatric brain cancer. If you are in the area, if you're in Franklin, if you're nearby Greenwood, Indy, we would love for you all to come out. We have a 5K and a walk. If you prefer to walk instead of run, like myself, you can do the walk as well. We'll have a lot of cool things there. Or if you want to sponsor, you can scan this QR code that I'm going to pop up here. We would love to have you all come out and to meet many of you with the Storm Cancer 5K this upcoming May. Go to their website. You can learn more about it. Help us get to that $50,000 fundraising goal as we go over the next couple of months. So, guys, with that being said, let me show you the snow forecast. And we have backed down totals a little bit. I still think that there's the risk for some locally heavier totals in here that we talked about this morning. But I think that the core of the heaviest snow going to be more across Fort Wayne, up towards South Bend, where a general, 3 to 4 inches going to be possible. But if you're in this turquoise area, still looking at 1 to 2 inches. Now, south of this red line, that is where, because of the pavement being warm right now, pavement impacts may be minimized a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. I still think as temperatures crash, we're going to have some flash freezing issues, probably still have some slick spots. But because the band is a little heavier, more further north than south, I think that it may at least limit the intensity or the widespread nature of some of the issues south of that red line. Doesn't mean there's no issues, But with it being 1 to 2 instead of 2 to 3, that at least I think, given the warm temperatures to start, may at least help alleviate a little bit more of the widespread concerns. So still 1 to 2 inches. Bloomington, Indy, Evansville, Louisville, Cincinnati, guys. There could be some pockets of locally lower and locally higher because of the nature of this backside snow band. So I want to emphasize that this is a general 1 to 2 inches, but there will be spots that get a little bit lower, and there will probably be spots that get a little bit higher just because of the nature of this band. And to highlight that, I want to show you some of the different model solutions because this is not an easy forecast. We've got 6 new models that have come in the past hour or two, and I want to show you the differences. So this is the FV3 model. It actually is pretty close to our forecast, I would say. It's one of the closer ones. It's not as heavy to the north. But then you look at this HRRR model, and it splits central Indiana, north and south, and is much lighter. And then you go to the NAM3, and there's kind of that locally heavier and locally lower totals that I talked about. We go to a different model. This is the SREF model. It's got a heavier band down into Indy. We go to a couple of different models here, and you can just see every single one right now has a different solution. And that's the challenge that we're dealing with right now. Models are really, really struggling, I think, to resolve details with the storms. They're struggling to resolve details with the intensity of the band. And so, again, backed off the totals a little bit. Not a complete miss, guys, just a little bit lighter than what we talked about earlier. So that's where we're at right now. And I'll kind of go through Terre Haute, you're at 1 to 2 inches. Muncie, you're probably going to be closer to 2 to 4, 3 to 4 inches, I would say, in the Muncie area. I think 2 to 4 is probably a pretty good general idea. Let's see some more questions that I'll pull up here. Let's see, and let me take that off so you can see the there we go. Now you can see the totals a little bit better on the screen. So let's see here. Let me get some questions. Yeah, the snow hole. You all liked that. You all liked that reel that we did where Michael was talking about the snow hole. It's just bad luck. I don't have anything else to attribute it to other than just bad luck. There is another snow chance in the forecast next week. I'll talk about that here in a second. Although once again, I do think the heaviest will kind of be further down to the south. Snownado. Thundering in Davies County, storming in Rising Sun, Indiana. Nope, you didn't miss the report on Evansville. Evansville, I think you're kind of in that 1 to 2 inch area. Although I do think the warmer surface temperatures right now will probably make it less than that on the pavement, more so on grassy and elevated surfaces there. Colder air coming in quicker than modeled right now. I think that, yeah, it could be coming in slightly quicker than modeled right now, Dustin. I think that that's probably part of the reason that we backed the totals off a little bit, because as it swings in a little bit faster, it prevents how long that heavy band can linger around, and it also can dry out the atmosphere a little bit. Let's see. How accurate are the totals for Wednesday snow in Evansville? I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm not going to share the precise totals yet because we're still a couple of days out. I kind of want to get past this system, but I would say right now there is the potential for 6 inches plus across southern Indiana. But that's kind of a generalized idea right now. How often does the future snow totals get updated in Clarity, guys? So Clarity snow totals, those update about every hour. So those are updated about every hour. 2.72, that's reasonable. We've got Fort Wayne in 3 to 4 inches, and so if you round up there, that's probably pretty reasonable for the Fort Wayne area. Do you know if this will be a thick snow or a light snow? Likely going to be kind of a heavier wet snow as it gets through, because it's going to be transitioning from rain. Maybe ends a little bit fluffier, and I think scattered snow showers tomorrow will be a little bit fluffier, but I think initially a kind of a thicker snow than a light snow. So guys, the core of the system moves out tomorrow morning. So core of the system moves out tomorrow morning. I'll kind of show the simulated radar again. And actually real quick, I do want to note here, here's a look at some of the wind gust into tonight. Could be some gusts of 20 to 30 miles an hour across the area, locally a little bit higher further down to the south. So that could help as well with drying some of the pavement once the precipitation exits, which is again another piece of good news in terms of pavement impacts. Will at the very least maybe help dry out a little bit before the colder temperatures crash in. I have temperatures pulled up real quick, guys. You can see this is through tomorrow morning, 6, 7 a.m. Temperatures dropping into the 20s for much of the state. And so, as that happens, that will increase the risk for some slick spots for any remaining surfaces that are wet. All right, guys, real quick here. I'm going to show you all the future radar again. So this really begins to, again, especially ramp up over the next few hours north of I-70 between Danville, Lafayette, Danville, Illinois, I should say, Logansport, Kokomo, Marion, and Fort Wayne. And you can kind of see this rain snow line slowly shift southeast as we go throughout the evening. This is by 2 a.m. This is by about 3 and a.m. I should say 3:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. Excuse me. You can see changing over across Greenwood, Johnson County, Morgan County, down towards northern Monroe County at this point. Snow's been ongoing for a little bit in Muncie at this point. And again, areas to the north, note how the snow lasts longer. That's the big deal here. That's why areas to the north, snow lasts several hours longer than it will across central Indiana. And that's why areas from Muncie to Marion to Kokomo to Fort Wayne have a higher chance to see a little bit higher snowfall totals, even though some of these pulses that move through into the pre-dawn hours tomorrow morning can pack a little bit of a punch. Could there still be some thunder snow? I wouldn't completely rule that out. Where exactly it'll be remains to be seen. But you all can see here some of the darker blues in here into tomorrow morning. Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, North Vernon. I wouldn't be shocked to see some heavier snowfall rates at times. It won't necessarily be consistent, but at times into tomorrow morning. This is by about 8 o'clock, guys. You can see snow moving through the Louisville metro area into southeast Indiana, and then exiting off to the east with some snow continuing across central Ohio by 10:30 tomorrow morning. Okay, guys, let's see here. Answer a couple of questions. I will pull the snowfall map back up here, and then I will show you a quick sneak peek of what we are looking at for next week. What's considered thunder snow? Thunder snow is just thunder that happens while it's snowing. Lightning that happens while it's snowing. Could be a couple of isolated strikes as this band moves through. Wouldn't completely shock me. Is next week's storm trending north or south? I would say latest runs have ticked a little bit further south, but they'll probably continue to wobble. This morning they trended north. They've come back a little bit further south. I think at this distance, it's better to not react to the run-to-run changes. Following from Northern Kentucky, you guys are always the most accurate, even for our area. I appreciate that. Be sure to share some of our posts. I'm from New Albany, so just north of Louisville. A lot of my family's from Kentucky, so always want to give some love down there to those folks. So talk about wild weather for Kentucky. Severe weather, flash flooding, and then snow all in one day. That's about as much as you can possibly get all in one day. The red line, guys. So the red line, south of the red line, it's just where pavement impacts will be maybe a little bit more scattered in nature because of the slightly lighter trends and totals and because of the warm pavement temperatures right now. It may limit the impacts a little bit. Not that there won't be any, but maybe limited a little bit with higher impacts to like grassy areas and elevated surfaces. Kim, I wish that we had a fun blizzard to forecast as well. Maybe one day. And guys, keep in mind with this sassy comment, if you will, keep in mind this is not just for tonight. That snow up in northern Illinois, that's going to include the scattered snow showers throughout the day tomorrow, lake effect. So it's not necessarily just with this one band. So I guess we'll see, right? Ooh, John says, first time my comment ever read. Now I gotta buy a subscription. My husband is supposed to fly into Chicago and then to Indianapolis tomorrow morning. I don't know if there'll be major impacts to the flights. I think the winds may be the biggest concern. But I would imagine that they're probably okay. Let's see here. Wilmington, Ohio. You all can see the map if you want to pick out your specific locations, but you can kind of see here Central Ohio, Dayton to Columbus could be 2 to 3 inches. Southern Ohio, Cincinnati, and point south 1 to 2. Northern Ohio, that's where you're going to benefit from additional lake effect tomorrow and those scattered snow showers tomorrow. So more widespread 3 to 4, and then along the lake, kind of the 4 to 6, locally higher. Toledo 6 to 8 inches there. Same for Detroit. So real quick, guys, and then we'll kind of start to wrap this up. Here's a look at what we are monitoring for next week for this winter storm. I haven't changed this yet. Again, data has shifted a little bit further south. Would be more of a southern third of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio type of risk based off the latest data. But again, they trended north this morning. They trended south this afternoon. I'm not going to react too much on one particular set of runs, but we'll keep an eye on it. There probably will be wobbles. Could it take a little bit north? Could it take a little bit south? I think that's possible. I think the risk is probably higher that it trends south just because of the intensity of the cold air coming in, another lobe of the polar vortex moving right into the northern and central parts of the country. And so that's going to lead to some extreme cold next week. We're talking about multiple days of single digit to below zero wind chills, guys, really throughout most of next week. And so I do think, given the cold, the risk is for it to come a little bit further down to the south. And this, I would say, for those of you asking for Indy, I would say that this storm is especially late Tuesday night into Wednesday. I think that Wednesday is probably the day that has the biggest impacts to travel associated with this storm. Right now, I would say that the best spot where I have the most confidence would be like Louisville. It would be Lexington, kind of in that region there. That's been the storm track this winter, and that continues to be the spot, as well as like St. Louis and Kansas City. Those are very good spots as well. Indianapolis, again, you're kind of on the line, kind of on the line. We need a little bit of a north tick, I would say, for some of the heavier snow chances. Sun is heading back to Purdue tomorrow afternoon from Indy area. Travel impacted. I think that there could be some slick spots tomorrow. Let me show you to give you an idea. I'm going to pull up Pavecast here. So this is Bloomington. So this gives you an idea of the pavement impacts, guys, throughout the night. And so you can see initially, this is Bloomington, Indiana. You can see that transition from rain to snow between 2 and 4 a.m. Initially, pavement conditions are just wet. As we go along, that's where roads could become a little bit more hazardous with some snow-covered roads possible. How widespread it is, that kind of remains to be seen. You can see temperatures kind of hovering at 32 until the early morning hours. That's when temperatures really start to drop. And then scattered snow showers throughout the day. For the most part, snow will be melting on contact, but it's worth monitoring for some pavement impacts. I think take it easy tomorrow and just keep an eye on things. If you're in one of those snow showers, just take it a little bit easy. I think you're probably okay. If we change our location here, let's go up to like Kokomo. Let's go up to Kokomo. Take a look here at the Pavecast forecast before we hop off here. You can see, again, the transition happening over the next few hours, that mixed precipitation that the platform is trying to see. Roads begin to get a little bit icy from 1 to 2 a.m., and then snow covered roads possible for a good part of the night. And again, I think that the further north you go of Indy, that's where those more consistent impacts are likely going to be. And you can see, could be some treatment needed throughout the day tomorrow, according to Pavecast. So I don't anticipate heavy snow showers tomorrow in terms of travel, but a couple of slick spots here and there can't be ruled out as snow showers do occur. So I think it's a deal where take it easy, be smart, and you'll probably be okay. But there could be some slick spots as we go throughout the day. Weather for the Daytona 500. Let's look. Let's look at the Daytona 500. Go down to Daytona Beach. This this will be the last thing I check here. You can see that overall the start of the race should be okay. We need to watch for some showers as we work towards probably the back half of the race. I know that I think they moved it up to 2 p.m. You can see maybe some rain chances in the forecast between 3 and 6. So start of the race may be okay. The end of the race may need to be monitored for some chances, but does clear out. So even if there is some, maybe they could finish the race at night. All right, guys. I appreciate all of you for hopping on. Be sure to like this, share this with a friend. Guys, be sure to like our page, follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're a business, be sure to scan that Clarity Pro trial. You can get a 14-day free trial. It's meant for businesses, organizations making decisions, race teams. We forecast for several race teams. So if you know somebody down in Daytona that needs a good forecast for tomorrow, maybe we can help them manage when the rain is going to come so they can get out into the lead. We've done that before with a couple of teams. Be sure to have them go to bamwx.com/get-started. And I'll do one more zoom out for the severe weather down to the south. So let me turn on our alerts again real quick, and then I'm going to hop off. But I want to make a note of the severe weather. So we've got a tornado warning right now, guys. This is just west of Winona, Mississippi. And then we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, guys. It's going to include 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for Clarksville, Tennessee, fairly populated area, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Waverly. Those storms are going to head towards Nashville. There could be a couple of spin-ups possible moving towards northern Tennessee and southern Kentucky. So if you have friends and family in these areas, along with all of the flash flood warnings that are in effect, we could be dealing with some damaging winds and maybe a couple of isolated tornadoes from Bowling Green to Nashville, down towards Franklin, Tennessee, as we work over the next few hours. So, guys, that's all that I have for now. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. We, of course, will be continuing to monitor the forecast. I know the guys at the office are putting out a bunch of updates right now on Clarity. Appreciate your support, and we will chat soon. We'll certainly be monitoring that bigger storm potential for the middle of next week. Have a great evening, guys.